Today is December 7th, 2025, and I haven't done a lot today. I haven't done a lot today, and I was a few moments ago really in my head about it. I was feeling lazy and I had to stop and kind of get myself together a little bit. So I was on the phone with one of my dear friends, my soul sister, and she was allowing me to process these thoughts out loud. I was expressing to her my frustration that I feel, or that I was feeling in that moment. And I was frustrated with myself because I was feeling like I'm not doing a good job as a mother, a mama bear. And that's a frustration that's a reoccurring theme for me. As I'm talking about it out loud, I could be the furthest thing away from being a bad mother just off of the simple basis of me always going on and on in my head about, am I doing this right for my kids? Are they happy? So in me being aware of the frustration that I feel with being a mother, or how I be, I realized that the life that I'm calling in, the version of me who exists now, in order for present day me to experience and embody this version of me that I see, this version that I desire, this version that I can smell, that I can taste. My mind, I can't, I feel like I can't touch it. In order for me to fully embody that, it requires me to have more responsibility. And responsibility that's a trigger word in itself for me. And I feel triggered when I think about being responsible or having responsibility, because I feel like I have a lot of responsibilities now. And the responsibilities that I have now, I have allowed myself to believe that I'm not successful with the responsibilities that I have day to day. So, while I was talking to my friend, my sister, my soul sister, while I was speaking with her, I realized that I am comparing myself to my mother. Now, me and my mother in today's world, we are in the best space that we've ever been in before in my life. And I am so blessed and grateful to have the relationship that I have with her now. Growing up, my mother, whether I realized it or not, was my superhero, my real life superhero. She did things that I really believe are supernatural. So I have a sibling. My sibling is 10 years younger than me. And now that I'm an adult and I have my own household, my own family, I find myself a lot of times, like especially when I had two small children or have two small children, I find myself a lot of times comparing myself to how my mom managed our family versus how I manage my family. And growing up, I had a really good routine. I spent, went to school, but outside of school, I grew up in a religious household. And growing up on Sundays, we went to service. I had to pause for a second. My little one was hungry. So as I was saying, on basically Sundays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, out of the 7-day week, I was doing some type of activity that was connected to the religion I was in. And as an adult, I understand that having some type of structure and routine for your little ones is crucial. And it gives you the child a solid foundation for when they become adults. So I was sitting here reflecting because I don't take my kids to church. But I am a very spiritual person, and I do talk to my kids about the Most High and give them like real life in those moments, examples of it. And I was sitting here and I was doing what I normally do, comparing myself to how my mom raised me, my mom and my dad, but comparing myself to how I was raised versus how I'm raising my children with their father. And when I put those two together, I fail every time. So I had to stop doing that. And while I was talking to my soul sister, I realized that I'm internalizing the things that I do and making myself feel like a failure, or how I just started out like I'm lazy. And with yes, especially with so if I go to the teachings of human design, and me now knowing that I am a ego projected projector, and knowing that the knowledge that I have and the research that's been done on projectors, knowing that the energy that I have, the engine that I run off, my battery pack is not the same size battery pack as the majority of the people around me in life. And being okay with knowing that the supply that I have on the inside may not be as big as the supply as the person that's next to me, but I can still operate efficiently. Just knowing how to use my energy is key. Life right now is not easy. There are some major transformations happening right now in life, and I can't lie, I'm shooketh about it. I'm scared because I don't know. I know at the end of the day that I'm going to always be highly blessed and highly favored. But in the moment, I don't know how. I don't know how it's going to happen. And it requires me to have this unwavering faith. This faith and this knowing that what I see in my mind will be. Yeah, what I see, it will be. And during this part of my life where I feel anxious and scared and afraid, I am in this moment, like I'm talking out loud because it makes me feel better. And instead of just sitting around and sulking, I want to record my experience in hopes that it may help someone who may be going through the same thing right now, or whenever you hear this, that in the thick of it, in the eye of the storm, there is still room. There is still room to allow yourself grace, and there's still this opportunity to regain and reclaim your sovereignty, your freedom. I am going through a growth phase. I'm in a huge growth phase right now. And me, when I think about because I love plants, when you, like, say I have a cutting of a plant, and I want it to grow into another plant. So I cut a piece of this, take a clipping from the mother plant, and I propagate it first, and I sit it in some water, and some of the roots will start growing. And after I see where there's some roots growing on it, I'll then put it in some soil. And that substrate that I put together, this environment that I create for this plant to grow in likeness of the mother, I put the things in the environment that it needs to thrive. And so I put in my soil, my perlite, my cocoa chips, things that I know that will help drain the moisture from the plant, make it airy, make it light, so it's not all dense and clumped together where it can't breathe, but it gives the roots room to grow. I do all that, and I wait. I wait for it to adjust. And I use that example because it's making me think about life. And, well, in this instance, the mother plant is our creator. The mother plant is God. The mother plant is the Most High. And we are all just little clippings from the mother plant. And in order to grow in lightness, the environment that we are in, it needs to be an environment where an ideal environment is where we would thrive. So in that, let's say like we're in an environment, the environment is set up where we're able to thrive. Once you cut a plant, it goes into shock because it's cut. So this cutting is in shock and it has to adjust, it has to adapt. It doesn't necessarily die, it just has to adapt. So while it's adapting, it may look like it's dying, and then it may look like some pieces are falling off. And I'm in that phase right now. I'm in that phase of transformation and in the phase of adjusting, because I have called in this new reality for myself. And calling in this new reality requires isolation. It requires time to grow. And growing is uncomfortable. It's not meant to be comfortable when we grow. You think about a woman who carries a child in her womb for 40 weeks. And it's not a comfortable process. Overall, it depends on, the environment and how your body is. But overall, it's not a comfortable process. Growth is not. Growth is discomfort. And being okay with it requires me to accept and be okay with the discomfort that I feel now, because things are changing. This is as real as I can get right now. I just wanted to share a little bit of what I've been thinking about. I feel a whole lot better right now. My little one interrupted. I'm going to go ahead and end on this note. I was saying I feel a lot better now. Now that I've expressed what was on my heart, expressed what was in my mind, I feel better. I can move forward and not feel bad, not feel lazy, because I'm not. I'm growing. And thank you for listening. I'm sending love. I'm sending light. I pray for your grace. And I'll talk to you soon. Toodaloo.